This is Leslie with Nails Now by Rogues. I'm an independent Jamberry nail consultant, and I'm going to demonstrate on making a small, easy rice bag to apply your Jamberry nail wraps. I begin with a small piece of cloth, cotton cloth, and it is about 8 by 8 inches. I take half a cup, or approximately that, of rice, and uncooked rice, and pour that in the center. And gather your corners of your cloth together. And then just using a hair tie or rubber band, secure the corners to make a little pouch. This is nice to just heat in the microwave about 30 to 40 seconds. And be careful because you want to definitely check it, make sure it's not too hot. We don't want you burning yourself. It's nice to use this technique with young children because you can check the heat and make sure that it's not too warm before applying the wraps, and you can do that by checking the inside of your wrist. It's a nice way to test that. So I either warm it in the microwave, or also I have a candle warmer that I can set my pouch on, my rice bag on, and that warms it up nicely and it keeps it warm while I'm applying my wraps. So now I've already applied my one accent nail, and I'm going to now finish my manicure and apply the accent nail to my other hand. I've already pre-cut it and peel it off, and then I'm going to take my wooden stick, peel this off. The metallics and the sparkles that have the silver backing, it's very important to make sure that those are heated really well. And you can do that by taking your rice bag and holding the adhesive side up away from the bag and warming it that way, or also setting it on top of the cup warmer or the candle warmer, and that heats it up nicely. You'll see a little bit of a curl happening here as the wrap begins to heat well, and that makes sure that the adhesive is activated before applying it to the nail. Now my nail's already been cleaned and my cuticles have been pushed back, so the nail is ready for me to apply my wrap. So I'll take that, careful not to touch where it's going to be stuck to my nail, and center that on the nail just above the cuticle. It's very important not to touch the backing that's going to be against the nail because the oils can cause that to not stick. Smooth up and then side to side to make sure that the wrinkles are out and the seal's good. Give it a little tug on the sides there just to be sure that the wrinkles are gone. And then take the rice bag and apply mild pressure with the heat. Again, use caution. It can get pretty warm on that candle warmer, so if you're sensitive to heat, it can feel very warm. But I apply a little bit of pressure with the heat, and it just seals the wrap up really nice. Again, tug it in case there's any wrinkles there on the side. Smooth it down. A little bit more heat. Heat and pressure works the best to apply these wraps, especially in the cold. In the winter season, I hear a lot of complaints of people's nails not sticking or wraps not sticking well. So then take the cuticle pusher and make sure that that wrap is on the nail and not on any of the cuticle or skin, which is another problem that causes the wraps to lift, is if the wrap is on the cuticle or the skin that surrounds the nail and not on the nail itself. Smoothing out wrinkles. Making sure that that's sealed down real well. Sometimes to really make sure you don't have any buckling around the side of the nail there. That's why the heating and the pressure is so good as far as applying that. A little bit more heat. And then also there's another technique that I've found works really well if you tend to have the buckling of the wrap around the cuticle. Wrap your fingernail or your finger really tightly in a plastic baggie, and then take your heat and apply that. Now you can also use this baggie with the heater technique when you use the mini heater or the hair dryer. And that it just seems to seal the nail, and it just helps create a really tight bond. Um, I don't always need this. It seems to apply really well when I use just the rice bag technique. But as you can see, that plastic bag really seals that down well. Just making sure that it's not there against the cuticle. Now when that cools, take my scissors and just cut off the excess there. And I like to take it, and just before I file, I like to heat the tip and just seal the tip down real well. And then it's important too to let the wrap cool just a little bit before you start filing, because if the wrap is still warm when you file, it can tend to cause some jaggedness on the end of the nail. So I let that cool just for a few seconds. And then when it seems to be cool, I take the file and just file at a 90-degree angle until that little bit of excess comes away from the nail. Always use a motion in one direction. You don't want to file back and forth. Back and forth filing will cause that to lift. And there we have that little bit of excess wrap filing off of the nail. I've also found that a glass file works really well. Some people have trouble with a glass file. It's not abrasive enough, but I'm able to trim my nail down enough to get that buffed off. And also the thinner wraps, the mattes, and the thinner wraps do tend to file off with a glass file easier. And then I'll use the buffer just to take that little bit of roughness off. And very easily my manicure is done using the rice bag method. A little bit of heat. Also, I found that if my nails wraps on the tips tend to lift, just by heating this up in the microwave or setting it on the candle warmer and just warming that helps seal those tips down again. So there you have a nice, easy rice bag method to apply your Jamberry nail wraps.